Your arms have carried me for miles. Here's where I belong. Life can be unfair. I just couldn't handle it. Still smell the bitter taste of misery and unfaith. I just need to love you like I do. 'Cause I don't know where I would be or where I'll go if you weren't standing next to me. Your arms have carried me for miles. Here's where I belong. I've been running away from now and everything I've seen, recalling the things I won't remember in. Remembering a feel I can't deny it. Just wanna hide it and let it go away. But you have shown me that I can be free and face the world again. And I don't know where I would be or where I'll go if you weren't standing next to me. Your love will carry me for life. And I don't know where I would be or where I'll go if you weren't standing next to me. Your arms have carried me for miles. Here's where I belong. Where I belong. Here's where I belong. Here's where I belong. I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up 'cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. Myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing else for the rest of our time. And I know it so well, I will always be by your side. 'Cause you
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Yes. Good morning, Jammers. It is Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. My name is Brad Brock, and I'll be your host this morning here on JNC in the morning. Thank you so much for tuning in if you are. Thanks for waking up with me. Philip, I do have my coffee this morning delivered straight from Sam's Club to my front door. Amazing. Just out of control amazing, I think. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. This is the second day for Jams and Cocktails, or Jams and Coffee in the morning. I feel bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, believe it or not. So this might be something I might be able to sustain a little bit. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it the old college try and find out. But we do have all kinds of news stories for you today, and I do require some class participation this morning because I need some recommendations. So I have some questions for you that we're going to ask later on. But as always, I think we should kick it off here with a little look at today's weather and a look outside, a little window check, as I like to call it. Here in Port St. Lucie, the sun is coming up. There's some clouds in the sky, so it's not completely crazy. It looks like it's very humid outside because there's a little bit of condensation on the window. But other than that, it means it's probably pretty hot. But I have the air running in here, so it's not wildly warm in here. But this morning, temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s and mainly dry for the morning drive with no weather worries. This afternoon, highs in the low 90s, the heat index values in the triple digits. It's a hot one, you guys. Scattered afternoon showers and storms, mainly moving west. Tonight, lows in the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies. That's the weather there. Well, I hope everybody is enjoying their morning so far and had a good start to their week yesterday. The JNC hotline is open at 772-888-1596. So feel free to drop me a line if you got anything to add or just want to say hi. Yeah, my day yesterday was pretty good. As soon as I finished the show, I went out and mowed the grass like I said I was going to do. I didn't slack on that. I actually went out and did it. And let me tell you, I am not as young as I used to be. Man, it wipes me out every time I do the yard. It doesn't matter if it's cool outside, which helps. But, man, it was a pretty hot out yesterday morning when I was mowing the grass. And, and I'm not fancy. I don't have a riding tractor. I don't have any of that. I got the good old push mower. At least it's self-propelled, so you give a little squeeze and boom, off it goes. The one piece of equipment that I have that is really giving me the struggle is my weed whacker. Now, I know that they come in all shapes and forms and sizes and abilities to propel themselves. But my first question to you guys this morning is, what do you prefer in the weed whacker world? Do you prefer the electric that you plug into the wall, battery-powered, or good old-fashioned gas-powered weed whacker? Or, as Derek Zugel, our friend from Jams and Cocktails, he's out there, he's got that manual one where you're like, pew, pew, out there just doing it by hand. So I'll never go into that. But what do you prefer out there? Electric, battery-powered, or gas-powered? Because the one I have right now is electric. You have to plug into the wall, got a big, long extension cord, and you got to maneuver that around. And let me tell you, it's not working for me. It's frustrating, and the machine itself works great. But pulling the cord around is outrageous. I'm really thinking heavily about going to the battery powered because I have other like Ryobi tools that use the same battery. But, give me a little feedback on that. I'll ask it again throughout the morning. But if you have anything to add, please do. It is Prime Day. Thank you, Philip. I wanted to get to that as well. It is Prime Day, and Prime Day is not just Prime Day anymore. It's actually 2 days long. So we got Prime Day today, and it goes through tomorrow. And it's like Black Friday shopping in July. It's wonderful. This week, Amazon actually kicks off its Prime Day. As I mentioned, a 2-day shopping event for Prime members featuring deals from top national brands and Amazon itself. The vice president of Amazon Prime said this year we're making it simple for members to find the best deals, from personalized deal recommendations to Alexa reminders. There was a statement that they released last month about this year's Prime Day, so it is pretty nice. And I did notice on the app it was pretty easy to find the deals, especially if you like Amazon products like the Alexa and the various products that they have, Fire tablets, TVs, all that stuff. Pretty good deals. They go on to say that they've been offering some deals since the 21st of last month, ahead of the event. So I didn't notice. I think I have all the Amazon products that they allow you to buy. But what are you going to do? A little history on Prime Day. It actually started in 2015, just before Amazon's 20th birthday, as a way to offer Black Friday-style deals just for its Prime subscribers. The first Prime Day was a 24-hour sales event on July 15th, 2015. And more than 34 million items were ordered, an average of 398 items every second. If that is not a marketing genius plan, if I've ever seen one, I don't know what is. That is incredible. I wish somebody would buy something from me, 398 items a second. I'm not sure what that would be. I don't know if I have that much to offer, but that would be nice. And Prime Day didn't become a 2-day affair until 2019. Other retailers have since jumped in with their own sales events similar to Prime Day, such as Target's Deal Days. So they're piggybacking, or as we call it here, picklebacking, on a great idea by the people over there at Amazon. What an interesting, it goes back to my discussion yesterday a little bit about the convenience of having things delivered. Because, I'll age myself just a little bit, but back in the day, you would have to go through a catalog and make a phone call, or even fill out one of the catalog that has the order sheet. You fill that out and you mail it in, and the stuff comes to you a month later. And now it's just so instant. It's so second nature to just look for what you need, order it, and it shows up. In many cases, with Amazon's involved, in many cases it shows up the very next day. Even the same day in some cases. Walmart's pretty good about that. If you order something, I think I ordered a pack of pens, and somebody came and hung it on my door handle within a couple of hours. It was unbelievable. We're living in the future, folks. It's incredible. I'm gonna pop over to the chats over here, and Philip. Yep, he said he loves his cordless weedy 40 volts. Yeah, gas. We're going to talk about gas prices a little bit later on in the show. But, it's for me, I can wrap my head around, using the device, taking the battery out and putting it on the charger and charging it up for the next use. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards battery powered. We don't have a massive yard, or it's pretty manageable in terms of weed whacking. But it would be nice to not have a cord, and it would be nice also to not have to fill it with gas and the whole oil thing, and that gets a little cumbersome. So yeah, I will check that out. Ego cordless weedy, weedy. Now I'm gonna check that out. I know that Home Depot usually has some pretty good deals. Hell, it's Prime Day. Maybe I'll go on Amazon and see if we can't just get one for a Prime Day deal. Popping over to our Facebook page, Paul says, "Nice shirt, thanks, man. This is my retro Florida shirt. We talked a lot about retro yesterday on the show, and so I figured I'd give it a little bit. I'd get in character and costume at least." And you went on to say, buy the Weed Whacker today from Amazon. Yes, absolutely. I will look into that and see if we can't get any Amazon Prime deals for a Weed Whacker for Brad. Yesterday was hot dogs. Today was weed whackers. Might be a theme here this week. I never did get my hot dog for lunch. I ended up getting very busy after mowing the grass and wasn't able to get out to any other spots. But I feel like sometime this week I'm going to have to get a hot dog in or around my mouth. There's a joke in there somewhere, I'm sure. Anyway, you guys, let's take a look at our news stories. What do you say? So in the local news, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. I was looking for the updated story. Couldn't find it anywhere. Couldn't find the updated story anywhere. They finally released the updated story about the Nude Beach Skinny Dip. Record-breaking event. So it did go on to break their previous record. And an estimated 769 skinny dippers attended the event on Sunday, compared to the 431 last year. And this was the Treasure Coast Naturists that put this on at the Blind Creek Beach. It is a nude beach. The county approved it. And man, 769. What a great number to begin with. But they attended this event, and they broke their record. Almost doubled it. The world record for the largest skinny dip was actually achieved by 2,505 women in Ireland in June of 2018, according to the Guinness World Records. So they got a little bit to go to break the world record. But man, they're off to a great start. Second year, almost doubled their event. They did credit a lot of it to TC Palm for making the story a feature and making it a great success. Pretty awesome. Well, I did tell you that I wanted to talk a little bit about gas prices. So if you've noticed, if you drive a car and you don't live under a rock, you may have noticed that gas prices have actually come down quite a bit in the last few weeks. Certainly not to previous lows, but any relief is good relief. But I have a thought on that, too, after this story. So it goes on to say Florida's gas prices have dropped for the fourth week in a row, falling 47 cents in the last month. Now, the decline in the average gas prices is a welcome respite from months of worry that gas could reach $5 a gallon or more. The average price of gas on Monday was $4.42, a 2-month low, according to the weekly briefing from the AAA Auto Club Group. The sharp drop is linked to plummeting prices of crude oil, which dropped $10 a barrel in the last week. Friday's closing price for crude was $104.79 a barrel. Gasoline, obviously, is refined from crude oil, making its market price a major factor of costs passed on to motorists. Well, that's nice of them, isn't it? Nice of them to pass those savings on to us. It's wonderful. Now, the way I feel about gas prices currently is like we're in an abusive relationship with a sociopath, right? So they say, let me make your life miserable. Let me throw you into financial chaos by making gas unaffordable. But then we're going to make you feel warm and fuzzy by dropping it just a few cents. It's amazing that we're walking around relieved that instead of paying $4.86, we're paying $4.14. Still incredibly high. It's unbelievable, which brings me to the weed whacker point. Why am I going to cut my grass and spend $4 a gallon to do it? Any downward trend at this rate is good for me, and we'll keep an eye on that. I find that very interesting, and I filled up $4.14. Again, I'm going to give a shout out to Sam's Club. This was actually Jordan that put me onto Sam's Club because they have the lowest gas prices anywhere. It's unbelievable. You may have to wait in a little bit of a line, but at least they have those pumps where you can pull the lever all the way out to either side and fill up any way that you put your car in. And if you're like me, I forget constantly what side my gas tank is on. Go ahead, take your pop shots. That's just the way it is. All right, well, we're going to get into some more news here after our very first musical break of the day. We're going to kick it off here with an oldie but a goodie as far as I'm concerned. This is from my good friend Summer Gill, and this is one of my favorite songs from her. This is Cognac Kisses. When we come back, we got more news. You're listening to JNC in the Morning. We'll be right back.
Beating hearts were still alive.
I tried pushing every limit, clicked my heels and I was in it. Watching clock hands passing hours as you crumble like a tower. And chandeliers and ringing ears, and when your heart is filled with fear, mending souls and growing old and taking what you wanna hear. Oh, when you're out of place and out of face, you're running in a losing race. Because it's all champagne, kisses and cognac lies. Poison, such a pretty disguise. Cognac, kisses and champagne lies. Really thought you had it figured out this time. Oh, watching wonderful pass you by. Poison is such a pretty disguise. Like a puppy wrapped in chains, chasing sun into the rain. Taking cues from pointing fingers and letting silent stories linger in a window panes and losing games. Taking all you had to gain, trying to catch a straw to drop a name. Oh, when you're out of place and out of face, you're running in a losing race. Because it's all champagne, kisses and cognac lies. Poison, such a pretty disguise. Cognac, kisses and champagne lies. Oh, the way you tell them, well, it works each time. Oh, watching wonderful pass you by. Poison is such a pretty disguise. Oh, champagne, kisses and cognac lies. Stealing whiskey stories from a heart of wine. Oh, breaking promises and breaking ties. Poison is such a pretty disguise. Oh, champagne, kisses and cognac lies. Poison, such a pretty disguise. Cognac, kisses and champagne lies. Oh, the way you tell them, well, it works each time. Really thought you had it figured out this time. Poison is such a pretty disguise. Poison, such a pretty disguise. Poison, such a pretty disguise.
Load up the truck 'cause it's time to go. We got 400 miles till our next show. Tires are humming spent 5 days in the same underwear. Life ain't easy being a guitar man, and life ain't easy in a guitar band. Double today, we playing day and night. Hey, now fiddle, are you feeling alright? When you ain't got no sweet cocaine's a hell of a drug. Get away from me, man, coffee's my jitterbug. We're playing for them, we'll play for you. We're gonna play for 1,000 or we'll play for 2. 'Cause that's what we do. Yeah, life ain't easy being a guitar man, and life ain't easy in a guitar band. Miles to go, so we stopped in New York City to enjoy ourselves. 1, 2, 3 days goes by fast. I gotta get out of the city, I spent all my cash. We all say we hate it and it's fun to pretend. I'll pick y'all up next week, we can do it again. Life ain't easy being a guitar man, life ain't easy in a guitar band.
All right, we're back. You're listening to JNC in the morning. Thanks for tuning in with me here, waking up with me this morning. Philip, I'm going to go ahead and give you our traffic report. He calls it the irrelevant traffic report because it's not local to the Treasure Coast area at all. But this morning's irrelevant traffic report on the I-24 westbound just past Murfreesboro. Nashville is stop and go this morning. Estimated time in traffic, 14 minutes. That's more time for you to hang out with me, my man, on your way to work. And I appreciate that so much. So I was looking on Amazon here. And I don't know, what's the big difference between 40 volts and 21 volts or 20 volts? I see some really, really nicely priced weed whackers but they're 20 volts. What is that going to cut? Is that going to do the job for me? It's really not a lot. I'm really just edging around, the some of the landscaping and the fences and just kind of edging around the sidewalks and whatnot. My biggest thing with the weed whacker is it's got to have an automatic spooling system here, because the one I have currently, unless I'm a complete idiot, which, hey, not putting anything past it, but I have to stop the machine and go and push a button on the bottom of the spool to get more line out. And, maybe I'm just terrible at weed whacking to begin with, but man, I just run through the line. It's unbelievable. And it's really cumbersome to try to get more line out of the thing constantly. So that's a requirement for me. It has to have some sort of automatic string release, because man, it is rough. But there's great deals on these, like even Black & Decker, but it's 20 volts. Is that enough? That's the question I have today, this morning. Is 20 volts enough? World may never know. But let me know if you know out there. Hotline's open, 772-888-1596. Give me a shout if you got something to add or any answers to my many, many questions this morning. Got a little bit of news out there. In the way that I read the story is that the authorities are meddling in people's businesses now. Terrible. Over 5,000 pounds of methamphetamine discovered in a record-breaking seizure. Just messing with people's business. Authorities said they seized over 5,000 pounds of methamphetamine from a box truck that crossed the border into the U.S. from Mexico in what they call one of the largest busts of the drug in San Diego County. 4 men were arrested in connection with the haul, which was contained in a 20-foot box truck that crossed the border Thursday at the Otay Mesa port of entry. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California and the Drug Enforcement Administration, law enforcement agents followed the truck to National City, about 17 miles north of the border, where 4 men began unloading dozens of cardboard boxes from the rig and into a Dodge van. Very specific. It was a Dodge van, authorities said. The boxes held about 148 bundles containing the meth. Meth heads all over the world are crying now. Unbelievable. But yeah, it's great that stuff's off the street, though, or didn't even make it to the street. So good work on that. 5,000 pounds. That's incredible. And it's amazing to me that they've not gotten more inconspicuous when moving this stuff. Like a huge box truck coming over the border. It just doesn't make sense. All eyes are on you. I go back to the Meet the Millers film, where they packed it all into a motor coach and pretended to be a white suburban American family, just going down to Mexico for a little vacation. That seems more doable as far as I'm concerned. But what are you gonna do? Okay. All right, Philip. So the 20 volts is the runtime and the weight. I mean, we're talking about weed whackers again. I see a trend here this morning, but it's important to me because it wiped me out. Mowing the grass wasn't so bad, but man, running that weed whacker and the actual performance of doing the weed whacking wasn't so bad. But yeah, it was slinging that electric cord around and releasing more line as I needed it. That's what wiped me out. Lighter is good, so I'm assuming that 20 volts is a lighter machine. And the runtime, I mean, I guess it really only took me a half an hour. So if it runs enough for that, I feel like most of that time was spent, plugging in and unplugging and, terrible. All right. I'll do a little research. If anybody else knows if 20 volts is not good enough, let me know, and I'll weigh that out before I make my my Amazon Prime Day purchase. If Jordan's listening, don't look at the credit card bill. Let's get into some music news. We have some celebrity birthdays today. Let me get bring that up here. So we're going to say happy birthday first to Brock Lesnar, a wrestler. He's 45 years old today, and he was named the WWE King of the Ring in 2002 after winning the 2000 NCAA Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. He joined the UFC in 2007. He's a big guy. What a big dude. Now, it's so funny because my name is Brad Brock. So people used to, back in the day, I would always say, they'd be like Brock Lesnar. I don't look like Brock Lesnar even a little bit. Also celebrating a birthday today is actress Michelle Rodriguez, and she's 44 years old today. If you can believe that. Obviously best known for her roles in the Fast and Furious films and the television show Lost. She actually received critical acclaim for her role in the 2000 film Girl Fight. And she also played in Resident Evil and Resident Evil Retribution. So, Happy birthday, Michelle Rodriguez. Who else is getting old? Who else is getting old today? Topher Grace. Topher Grace from that 70s show and various films. Interstellar, Traffic. He's turning 44 years old today as well. Happy birthday, Topher Grace. Charlie Murphy, rest his soul, would be celebrating a birthday today. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. A disgraced funny man, Bill Cosby, 85 years old today. Interestingly enough, today is National Eat Your Jell-O Day. And as many of you know, Bill Cosby was a big proponent of eating your Jell-O pudding pops. And such like that. Heather chiming in over on Facebook. She said battery-operated weed whacker and battery-operated lawnmower is what they have. She thinks it's perfect and easier, and she also believes that theirs are 40 volts. And Charlene says that she loves her Ryobi weed whacker and blower, so easy to use. I also thought about that, too. I also thought about getting the multiple attachments, doing the multiple attachments with the whacker, the edger, and the blower all in one. I don't know. I don't know if I have the need for the blower. I have a great big push broom that I get everything done with, mostly. I'm old school like that. Also celebrating birthday is Kimberly Perry from the band Perry. She's 38 years old today. Her band's second album, Pioneer, charted at number 1 on the U.S. country charts. Good for her. Who else is celebrating a birthday? Oh, my goodness. At 73 years old today, Richard Simmons, boisterous fitness guru who dedicated his business ventures to helping people lose weight primarily through his Sweatin' to the Oldies videos. And anybody that grew up in the 80s and 90s knows Richard Simmons and his boisterous fitness videos. What a wonderful guy. Happy birthday, Richard Simmons. Who else? Anybody else celebrating a birthday today? Steve Howie, 45 years old today. He was known for playing the role of Van in the comedy series Reba, and he also played the supportive crazy neighbor of the Gallagher family in Showtime's Shameless. Happy birthday there, Steve. I feel like I'm missing some. Birthdays. But maybe not. Well, happy birthday, everybody. How about them apples? Well, a little bit more music news here. Harry Styles, who I love, by the way. I think his music is great. I think he's a great, fresh breath of fresh air for the music scene. His music is interesting and real, and I really enjoy what he's doing there. In this story, he stays at number 1, but a retro blast from the past. Kate Bush is back to running up that hill and running up the Billboard Hot 100. Harry Styles notched his 9th week overall on top of the Billboard Hot 100, but Kate Bush's nearly 40-year-old song could overthrow him. As It Was remains the country's number 1 song after fans streamed it an additional 18 million times and downloaded 5,000 additional copies in the past week. This latest victory also allows Harry to maintain a tight grip on Billboard's Songs of the Summer chart, which he's ruled for the past 6 weeks. While fans can't seem to get enough of As It Was, Kate Bush's 1985 hit Running Up That Hill has gained a second win thanks to the Stranger Things Season 4 finale. The song rebounded from number 6 to number 4 this week thanks to fans streaming it 22.3 million times and buying up 17,000 additional copies. Mind blown. It reminds me of when The Sopranos television show ended and Journey's Don't Stop Believing just resurged. You know, the song to a point where a whole new generation of people have come to hate the song. It's and I think it's a pretty good song. I enjoy it, but it opened the door for a whole new group of people to learn to hate it because it was everywhere. It was everywhere, and I feel like this is becoming the truth for Kate Bush's tune, Running Up That Hill. I don't think people hate it yet because it's still fresh, and of course Stranger Things is an amazing television show and really, really well done, and the season was really well done in my opinion. I thought it was really good. But yeah, the Running Up That Hill is currently leading both streaming songs and the digital song sales charts. So really impressive. Kate Bush, good on you. I hope you're buying yourself something nice. Something nice. Going back to Jell-O, it is National Eat Your Jell-O Day. So if you want to let me know in the chats and comments what your favorite Jell-O flavor is, and if you've got any good Jell-O shot recipes. We make Jell-O shots pretty often on the Jams and Cocktails podcast. It's my delicious cop-out when I have nothing else to make or running behind on ideas. But yeah, let me know if you've got any great Jell-O shot recipes. I know that Paul and Charlene do because we got to taste them last week on the JNC podcast last Wednesday night. So those were great. They were red, white, and blue, and layered, and it was pretty amazing the process to do that. But yeah, let me know, and let me know if you're going to be eating any Jell-O today. And another question is it a cardinal sin to put like fruit into Jell-O? You know, like I know some people put like banana bits and things like that. I never understood that. I mean, if you're going to Jellify anything, I think it should be like candy. But that's just me. I got another couple of topics to talk about when I come back from the break. Coming up, I want to know what you guys think about the quality of hand dryers in public bathrooms. We're going to discuss a little bit about that because I had an experience and it got me thinking. And now I want to talk about it because I find it fascinating. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you a little tune here from my friend Dave Balin and the Bailouts. You're listening to JNC in the Morning. I'm Brad Brock. We'll be right back.
If I could just get a minute of your time, baby, I can tell you a thing or two. But if you want to spend a little more time, baby, I can show you what I want to do. Now if your man can't keep his distraction, if your friends can't cut you some action, come on down to the thing called attraction. Satisfactory. If you stand still, the floor will start moving, and your feet will start busting to a groove, and I'm moving like a locomotion as you swing your hips in a circular motion. And you know what everybody is feeling. You can hear them barking and squealing. They're so high, they're dancing on the ceiling. It's satisfactory. could just get a little of your time, baby, I can tell you what I wanna do. But if you want to spend a little more time with me, I can show you a thing or two. Now if your man can't kick his distraction, if your friends can't cut you some action, get your ass down to the main attraction. It's satisfactory.
I knew you were the perfect choice from the first time you came around. So later on when I took your breath, I was hesitant to put you in the ground. Propped you up, put makeup on, put you in a pretty blue dress. Had to make sure you stood out from all the rest. Knew you'd make, knew you'd make, I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse. Knew you'd make, knew you'd make, I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse. I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse as I saw you sitting at the bar. Looked like you had tears in your eyes, someone had pushed you a little too far. Walked up, said hello, asked if I could help. It's when I got a whiff of your perfume, can't even tell you what I felt. Knew you'd make, knew you'd make, I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse. Knew you'd make, knew you'd make, I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse, an exquisite corpse. I knew you'd make a beautiful corpse as I saw you strutting across that empty street. Smiling, waving, I called your sweet names, but you refused our eyes to meet. Oh, what beauty in your panic run. Oh, the fun has just begun. Hush now, baby, don't you cry. It's time for your final lullaby. Knew you'd make,
All right, we're back. We are back. We are back. You're listening to JNC in the morning. I'm Brad, and yeah, we've been talking about Amazon Prime Day today, and I'm not gonna lie, I love Amazon Prime, and I've gotten some really, really great stuff on Prime days, and so I want to know what's the coolest thing that any of you have gotten on Prime Day. I would say that one of the coolest things I got was the smart outlet things, right? That you pair to your Wi-Fi, and from anywhere in the world, you could turn off the lights and stuff in your house and set it to automatically turn things on, turn things off. Living in the future is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So yeah, that's one of the coolest things that I got on Amazon for Prime Day. But let me know in the chats and comments what your favorite thing is that you got on an Amazon Prime Day. Philip says nothing ruins a Friday more than realizing it's only Tuesday. And you know what, Philip? That is absolutely correct. But it's a pretty good day. Tuesdays are good for me. I get to play a show tonight at the Tipsy Tiki in Fort Pierce, Florida. I'll be there from 6 to 10. So if you're in the area, please pop on by and hang out with me. And then, I have Wednesday to finish up putting together the Jams and Cocktails podcast that's going to be live on Wednesday night. As I mentioned yesterday, it's National Barbershop Music Day. So we're going to dive into a little bit of history on barbershop music, and I'm going to feature some great barbershop music. If you're unfamiliar with the style and the genre, it's still thriving. So we'll get into that tomorrow night on the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Question for all of you out there. So I'll preface by giving you a little story. I was out with a friend shooting darts, having some drinks at this little bar in Port St. Lucie. Go to the restroom, and like I'm neurotic, I always wash my hands. So washed my hands and went to the hand dryer, and it was just the weakest, wimpiest hand dryer that I've ever come in contact with, right? Like, literally wasn't even blowing the water off of my hands. It was just like somebody was breathing on them to get the water off. Unbelievable. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking about the different quality and operational standards of these bathroom hand dryers. Because let me just lay it out there for you. You have hand dryers like the one I just mentioned that barely breathe on you, probably 50 years old. Then you have, your midline, which are pretty good. It'll get the water to bead off of your hands a little bit. Then you have the Excel brand, which is like pretty intense. You can actually see ripples in your skin as it moves the water from your hands. And then Dyson on a whole other level of hand drying, where you put your hands down in the little cuffs, and man, it just gets it from both sides and really does a pretty good job. The truth is, come to find out, all of these hand dryers are disgusting, right? So first of all, there's no quality control clearly across the industry on or operational standards of wind pressure and overall effectiveness of these hand dryers. But this comes from Cleveland Clinic. And they go on to say, one surefire way to keep flu and other viruses at bay is to wash your hands often and wash them well. But if you can, they say to avoid high-speed jet air dryers in public restrooms. Research shows that they spread rather than remove germs. Now, I never thought that the hand dryer was going to be removing germs. I thought that's what we were doing in the sink to begin with. But certainly didn't think that they would be spreading them. The same is true to a lesser extent for the warm air dryers. Warm air dryers are pretty nice in the wintertime where it's a little cold and you get to warm your hands up a little bit. but they always skeeved me out anyway. What they recommend as the clear winner is good old-fashioned paper towels. And I love the paper towels as well. I'm not sure how green they are in terms of, wiping your water, drying your hands off every time you wash them. But I understand that, that's probably the most sanitary way. What I think is super gross is when the machine is either broken or the dispenser machine is either broken or the battery ran out, and they just set the paper towels just on the counter where the sinks are. That seems, I'm not sure where that lands in the sanitary department, but kind of gross. But, and then they have the other kind where it's the machine, but it just keeps recycling the same piece, so like it just kind of moves down and you dry it off and then it continues back into the machine and supposedly dries itself off. Wow, sick. One thing if it's in your own house, but in a public space, I can't get my head around that. They say hand washing is the key to preventing the spread of illness, but wet hands increase the risk of transmitting bacteria. So drying is an equally important step in prevention. And yeah, so if the machine is not drying properly, and how many times have you tried to dry your hands in the machines? And you end up just wiping it on your pants anyway as you leave the restroom. I've done it. I continue to do it a million times with the lower powered machines. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the difference in the quality of these hand drying machines, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Philip says those Dyson Airblade dryers are great, but they shouldn't put them next to the urinals. He said, my first experience was very messy and embarrassing. Yeah, I can't. Let me tell you what, they are intense. Dyson, man. It's not just about the suction. They blow, too. It's unbelievable. Really an intense product. But out of all of them that I've used, the Dyson Airblade was the best. I thought it was the most effective piece of equipment to dry my hands. And yeah, but paper towels. Jordan said, ooh, the ones that used to recycle the paper towel. Remember those? Yep. I do remember those. Gross. Yes, Jordan, she also mentioned, she said, shooting darts, Brad. Yes, sometimes I like to throw some darts around. I did not do very well. And it doesn't take away from the fact that I was shooting darts with Derek. But yeah, totally disgusting. Which leads me to this week's top 10 list. So why don't we just get into it, huh? That's right, this week's top 10 list. And some of these things may surprise you. So this is 10 ordinary things that people did that turned horribly disastrous. And some of these are pretty graphic. Not going to lie. Good thing we're not on actual real radio here. So we can talk about whatever we want. But let's start with the first terrible one. On the morning of September 27th, 1986, more than 2,000 volunteers filled 1.5 million balloons before releasing them all at once from under a large plastic tarp. The stunt had been organized by the United Way to break the world's record for the largest number of balloons released at once. However, the weather was poor that morning, and the balloons were forced down by the rain. As it turned out, the record-breaking event backfired in spectacular ways. First, the balloons temporarily shut down the runway at a nearby airport. Also, the balloons temporarily interrupted Coast Guard attempts to find 2 fishermen whose boat had capsized. And this may have contributed to the drowning of those 2 men. A lawsuit brought by the widowed spouse of one of the fishermen against the charity was settled out of court. The same thing happened with another lawsuit from a woman who claimed the balloons had spooked her prized horses. One horse was injured and had to be euthanized as a result. So you got to be careful releasing 1.5 million balloons into the sky. It just seems like a grand idea. I'm not sure what they were thinking. Number 9 on this list, cremating a corpse. Cremation of corpses is an everyday occurrence and usually doesn't cause much of a problem. However, human fat is extremely combustible. In sufficient quantities, it could burn so hot that the crematorium can't handle it. And this actually happened in 2012 when a 200-kilogram or 440-pound woman was cremated in Austria. A large amount of soot released by the burning corpse blocked an air filter, causing the furnace to overheat. The crematorium nearly burned down before firemen managed to extinguish the blaze. However, the crematorium was still covered in a layer of sooty grease from the burning corpse. With the worldwide rise in obesity, this issue will become an increasing problem in the future. Although crematorium sizes have expanded to accommodate larger corpses, the rate of expansion may not be enough to catch up to people's overexpanding waistlines. Present company included. That's me, folks. Number 8 on this list. Rico said he's still up in the air about the balloon story. Number 8 on this list, using bug bombs. Bug bomb may be to blame for an explosion inside a Lawndale home. When a woman found her apartment infested with bugs in 2012, she did what many people would have done and tried to use bug bombs to smoke them out. But she overdid it, using 20 bug bombs in one room of her apartment and then another 20 in another room. Her oven was on, which ignited the fumes from the bug bombs and caused a massive explosion that blew out the wall of the apartment building. It partially collapsed and injured a dozen people. Bug bombs can be quite flammable. There is a misconception that the more bug bombs you use, the more effective they are, but only one bomb is needed. It doesn't help that the bug bombs are also quite cheap. In the U.S., the overuse of bug bomb causes 500 explosive and incendiary incidents every year. Gotta be careful trying to kill those bugs. And don't get it twisted. I had a very recent experience with a infestation of carpenter ants. And I believe it was Jordan that was like, we need to gas the attic. We need to put bug bombs up in the attic. We didn't. We actually called a professional and had them come and take care of it, so that was helpful. Number 7 on this list, weighing people. Obviously, people who keep track of how much weight they've lost by weighing themselves. But when a group of obese people came together, such as in a Weight Watchers clinic, their combined weight can be heavy enough to cause structural failure of the building. In 2010, a group of overweight dieters lined up to see how much weight they had lost when the floor beneath their feet started to shake. Initially, they thought an earthquake was happening, but it was the floor failing under their combined weight. This should always be done on the ground floor, I think, anyway. Parts of the floor started to collapse, including the walls, and the attendees heard a huge thud. Thankfully, nobody was injured, and the people who gathered to weigh themselves went into the corridor of the building, which had not collapsed. And they moved their scales out of the collapse room and continued their weekly weigh-in. So good for them. Yeah, you know what? You may take out a building, but you're on the road to a healthier lifestyle, and that's commendable. Number 6, and this one hits right into my heart. This one hits right into my heart of hearts. Number 6, a captain tries to impress his mistress and causes a maritime disaster. Now, this particular instance, when I was working on cruise ships as an entertainer, changed everything for me. So in 2012, the Costa Concordia disaster enraged the world when we learned that the captain had abandoned the ship, leaving the crew and passengers to fend for themselves. Initially, it was unclear why the captain had sailed his ship so close to the island of Giglio. However, testimony from both passengers and crew members clarified the cause. The captain had been having an affair and was trying to show off for his mistress, a dancer and tourist representative who was not supposed to be there. The captain decided to sail close to Giglio as a salute. He invited his mistress to the bridge to watch. However, he misjudged the distance between the island and the ship. A rocky outcrop ripped into the side of the ship, causing it to sink. In the ensuing chaos, 32 passengers died, and the ship was declared a total loss, all because the captain had tried to impress a pretty girl. And that's what you get. And as a sailor myself, during that time, we went from, it was party time all the time to weekly meetings and trainings about how to deal with these types of situations. So thanks a lot, Captain. He is in federal prison now. So I'm not sure which federal prison, but he's in prison somewhere. Yeah, you can't in modern times you can't sink a cruise ship. That's just not like that anyway. Number 5 on the list, burglary suspect runs from the police only to be eaten by an alligator. And this has to have happened in Florida. And indeed it did. When you're robbing homes and the police give chase, you run and you hide. However, if you hide in the wrong place, you could end up dead. In 2015, that's what happened to Matt Riggins in Florida. On the run from police after robbing a string of homes, Riggins decided to hide in a lake. Well, the lake also contained a ferocious alligator, which killed him. The next day, his family contacted police because, believe this or not, Riggins was missing. By the time the police found his body more than 10 days later, he had been eaten. When police waded into the lake to retrieve him, the alligator was so vicious that it had to be euthanized. When the alligator was cut open later, well, we'll let your imagination run wild with that one. Number 4 on the list. A U.S. citizen goes overseas and has to illegally immigrate home. An estimated 3 to 6 million Americans live overseas permanently. And we're just going to call him Raymond. Was one of these expatriates, a former U.S. soldier who converted to Islam in 2008, and he lived in Colombia. In 2010, he needed a medical exam in the U.S. to get a new job. But when he tried to board a plane to Texas, he was barred from the flight for no apparent reason. He lost the job opportunity and desperately wanted to get home. His first plan was to fly to Mexico and cross the U.S.-Mexican border. But that plan was derailed by the Mexican government, which deported him to Colombia. His second plan was to fly to Panama and take buses through Central America to the U.S.-Mexican border. But this also was fraught with peril. Hostile government officials interrogated him constantly. When he finally reached the border, he was interrogated by U.S. officials for hours before he was released. Much like an illegal immigrant would be treated to get into the U.S. So here we are, an expat, just trying to get back into the country. So think twice before you decide to just get the hell out of Dodge, right? Number 3 on this list, a man tries to commit insurance fraud and blows up an entire city block. In 2012, Mark Leonard, his girlfriend, and his half-brother tried to get a $300,000 insurance payout by burning down their house. The first attempt failed, so they tried again. This time, they filled their house with natural gas and set a mechanism to ignite the gas. Instead of destroying their own house, the blast was so powerful that it killed 2 neighbors and damaged 80 other homes in the neighborhood. Prosecutors charged the 2 men with murder. The girlfriend took a plea deal and testified against her boyfriend and his brother. In 2015, both men were convicted of murder and arson and giving life sentences in jail. That $300,000 isn't going to do very much good in there. Maybe good for their commissary. They'll get Cheetos for life. Number 2 on this list, snowboarder sneaks into restricted area and causes an avalanche. Christian Mars, a snowboarder, he sneaked into a closed area of the Sugar Bowl ski resort in California. He was attempting to snowboard there, but instead triggered a massive avalanche. He caught the whole thing on camera as he was nearly buried alive. He claimed that he hadn't seen the signs indicating the area was closed off. He said he just wanted to have some fun. Despite his close call with death, he was charged with trespassing under California law. Ski resort officials claim that he would have noticed the high risk of avalanches in the area if he had checked weather conditions the day before he went snowboarding. By triggering the avalanche, he also endangered the lives of other people in the area, and they could have been buried too. Thankfully, they weren't. And finally, number 1 here on the list of things people did that turned out horribly. Scientist takes plankton samples and nearly causes a pandemic. Ooh, spookily, eerily Interesting. During the Cold War, the Soviets had an active bioweapons program and conducted various tests of biological agents in natural environments. On an island in the Aral Sea in 1971, one such test nearly caused an outbreak of smallpox that could have spread across the world. A Soviet research ship had unknowingly sailed close to the island to take the plankton samples. Scientists aboard the ship became infected after the ship returned to a port, and then she infected others. When the Soviets realized what was happening, they initiated a massive vaccination program and shut down transport to other parts of the Soviet Union. This prevented a potentially global outbreak of the smallpox. 3 people died. Even those who had been vaccinated against smallpox got mild to severe cases of the disease, which is an indication of the virulence of this particular strain. So that spookily paralleling to what we've experienced over the last few years here. And that is the list. All right. Hey, we're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you guys what your favorite song is and why. So think about that and we'll talk more about it when we come back. You are listening to JNC in the morning. I'm Brad Brock. Don't go away.
Tragic situation. Love is blind, but she don't see it. Climb the mountains, put the signs up and everything, but she brushes by me like she doesn't feel a thing. Oh, this one-sided attraction is so cold. I can't feel my heartbeat anymore. And it's amazing after all this time, your eyes still have not been mine. Is this a slight misunderstanding? Am I mistaken or is she taking a couple more steps towards me? It feels like forever before she makes it to my side. And I feel a cold wind blow when she asks me for a light. Oh, this one-sided attraction is so cold. I can't feel my heartbeat anymore. And it's amazing that after all this time, your eyes still have not been mine. I notice how her fingertips wrap around her glass and bring it to her lips. It's such a subtle observation. I wish that she would say one time, how about your place or mine? That would be fine. Oh, this one-sided attraction is so cold. I can't feel my heartbeat anymore. And it's amazing that after all this time, your eyes still have not been mine. Oh, this one-sided attraction
exceptional. Just how far I have come. It's been so long I can still remember where my journey began. Whoa. Is there ever gonna be release from this misery? The way you play your games, when will you set me free? I've come so far, I've come so very far. My body aches like a banished one under the scorching sun. Reaching out to an image so clear, but I know there's no one there. Is there ever gonna be release from this misery? The way you play your games, when will you set me free? I've come so far, I've come so very far. I know there's plenty, I've seen it all before. Yet you guard and lock the door. Willing to give and pour out my soul. Your heart is hardened to the core. Is there ever gonna be release from this misery? The way you play your games, when will you set me free? I've come so far, I've come so very far. Is there ever gonna be release from this misery? The way you play your games, when will you set me free? I have come so far. When will you set me free? I've come so far, I've come so very far.
All right, we're back. That was Matt Ingram. So far, great tune. Matt's awesome, man. If you guys ever get to see Matt Ingram out performing locally, go check him out. He plays all over the place. What a great entertainer and a good dude. Looking at Amazon deals. Prime Day, you guys. It is Amazon Prime Day. They got great deals on the Roomba. I'm going to get my hands on a Roomba. Sick of vacuuming and mopping the house. I want the combo. I need the Roomba that does both. I need the Roomba that vacuums and mops. Anybody out there have a Roomba in their house? Let me know what you think of that thing. I have to get a Roomba and a weed whacker. Going for a life of convenience, folks. That's what we're doing here. So, hey, I want to know what your favorite song is and why. Give you a little bit of time to think about it. Put it in the chats and comments. The JNC hotline is open, 772-888-1596. If you want to give me a shout, we'll put you on the air. My favorite song, believe it or not, is a tune by the Counting Crows called Mr. Jones. It was their first big hit, and I love it just because it's such a quintessential story of, going from being a garage band to the whole world knows you and everybody loves your music. And it's always kind of sat with me as an aspiring rock star back in my day. And I love the Counting Crows. They're a great band. They're very fun to see live. They always have been. And that song just hits. And like they do their rock out version, and then they also have a really great acoustic version, which hits home too. But yeah, let me know in the chats and comments what your favorite song is and why. We'll talk a little bit about it. I saw an interesting story, Treasure Coast story, with Sebastian. This is unbelievable to me. The headline reads, Sebastian woman, 93, died from heart disease, and her daughter hid her body to collect the benefits. The day after a 93-year-old Sebastian woman's body was discovered in a freezer in her garage in April, her daughter told police she wanted her death kept secret to continue receiving her mother's Social Security benefits. Wow. Indian River County Sheriff's deputies arrested the woman, who was 64 years old, late Thursday afternoon at her mother's home on a warrant signed by the judge the same day. She's charged with failing to report a death and tampering with or destroying evidence. She's in jail on $10,000 bond following her first court appearance this week. Police and court records show two different spellings of her name. Seems wildly nonsensical to put that in this article. But maybe not. Maybe that's how she gets off on a technicality. I don't know. The medical examiner determined that the woman, 93, died from heart disease and found only acceptable amounts of, aspirin and caffeine in her body through toxicology screenings. So the daughter found her mother deceased in her bed and decided not to contact authorities so she can continue to receive Social Security disability benefits that she would not be afforded if it was known her mother was gone. Unbelievable. She told police when they were looking for her. Police, they first went to the home after multiple calls were received from concerned neighbors requesting a welfare check. When they showed up, the daughter said that the mother wasn't home because she was at a doctor's appointment. Detectives state in their report that the daughter could not give the name of the doctor she was seeing or how she got there. The next day, the police entered the home on a well-founded fear she may be in harm's way, based on the daughter's statements and phone calls made with concerned family members. During the first search of the home, the police found the body in the freezer, but didn't tell the daughter of the discovery and requested that she come to the department for an interview, which she agreed to. She was unaware the police had found the body and that they already knew that the mother was dead. This story is crazy. What kind of people are out there among us, you guys? I understand that times are tough, but my goodness, there are better ways to commit fraud. I think we'll put our heads together. We'll have a nice think tank on fraud and see if we can't come up with something better than putting your dead mother in a freezer in your garage. Unbelievable. Well, rest in your soul. I hope that you found peace. And that woman needs to spend some time in jail, I think. That's outrageous. And right in our backyard, Sebastian. How about that? All right. Well, you guys. Do a little check of the weather here while we're looking at it. Window check is it's beautiful outside right now here in Port St. Lucie, right outside the JNC Lounge. It looks great. The forecast is that it will be in the mid to upper 70s throughout the morning here. Mainly dry for the morning and no weather worries. This afternoon, the highs get into the low 90s. The heat index will be in the triple digits. And scattered afternoon showers and storms will be apparent, mainly moving west. Tonight, the lows in the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies over the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beach area. So should be a pretty nice day after our standard summertime storms that we get out there. So, what are you going to do? Gotta live that life. If you're a fisherman here on the Treasure Coast, there's some redfish regulations coming, and they mean catch and release for the Indian River Lagoon. So if you like to catch redfish out there in the lagoon, things are changing. The Florida redfish regulations are about to change throughout much of the state, but the most significant change will be in the Indian River Lagoon. The state has banned harvesting redfish in the 156-mile-long lagoon that runs through 5 counties. The lagoon's dearth of seagrass habitat, which contributes to over 1,700 manatee deaths in the past 2 years, is also affecting the life cycles of marine fish, crustaceans, and a variety of birds. So redfish will be catch and release only starting September 1st. If the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission approves the new regulations as expected. So the 7-member governor-appointed board will meet July 13th and 14th in Jacksonville. The FWC staff, which proposed the new regulations in May, said increasing the number of management regions will help the agency better manage the fishery based on local changes to the environment from development and other factors. Stakeholders, including recreational anglers and for-hire charter fishing guides, gave mostly positive feedback during the 12 workshops held around Florida, except the Big Bend region. FWC had proposed an increased daily bag limit, but after the workshops decided that the daily bag limit in that region at 1 per person. So, banning redfish harvest in the lagoon, which extends from the Martin to Palm Beach County line north of the Ponce de Leon Inlet New Smyrna Beach, did not generate as much pushback as one would think. So, I get it. The lagoons have been under attack for ages, so they got to do some things to keep the wildlife safe in there. So, Paul said he gave us our traffic report saying it's clear sailing from Jupiter to West Palm, but with the typical speed traps. So look out for them out there, clocking you guys down. All right. Still looking at Amazon Prime deals, guys. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on the Weed Whacker. I can't live that life again. That was too much. It was too much for me to get out there and then on top of just being tired, I was getting frustrated and angry. So it was going to be a massive problem. But you guys, I'm going to take one more quick break. I'll come back with my shameless plugs. And then I'm going to send you on your way on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Here's one from Micah Scott. I'll be right back. You're watching the JNC Morning Show.
I got a bird, wanna whistle. Baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we sing. My baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we sing. But without my Karina, I sure don't mean a natural thing. Oh, I learned to love you I'm a hard luck honey, I'm a hard luck soul. Got me a rainbow around my shoulder, looks like silver, baby shines like Klondike gold. I got a bird, got a whistle, my baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we sing. My baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we sing. But without my Karina, I sure don't mean to announce a thing.
That was Sandman Sleeps with Icy Jungle. They're playing at Matthews Brewing this weekend, and they just released their vinyl versions of their record. So check them out, sandmansleeps.com. Great band, good people, and great music. So check them out. I'm going to get into my shameless plugs here. But first I want to mention Paul there said, save money and have kids to do the yard work. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think it would be cheaper in the long run to just buy the weed whacker and do it myself than raising my own ungrateful children, which I'm sure they would be. Or they would be angels because they would be Jordan's children too. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So I'll probably have to settle for the weed whacker. Yeah, shameless plugs. The biggest, most important one is to thank you guys for tuning in with me on the second day of this venture. I really, really appreciate you hanging with me and talking with me in the morning. It gives me a reason to get up and do this and keep it going and building it. So huge thank you. Be sure to follow our pages on Facebook and subscribe over there on YouTube. That would be super awesome. I know Philip subscribed, so thank you so much for that. And there's little things like little bells that you can click, and so you'll get notifications whenever this goes live. So you won't have to set an alarm for it. It'll beep on your phone when we do this. So and for all the various live events that we do. So check that out. Please do that. That's awesome. Appreciate it. I'm going to give a shout out to our friends and partners at Code Rum. And Mr. Johnny Ringo was tuning in a little bit ago. Go and check out the smoothest rums on the planet. As I mentioned before, you can get them from the Sneaky Tiki. You can get Code Rum Cocktail. They are available in all Total Wines in Florida and several mom and pop shops around town. Go and check them out. I love the Key Lime. The Key Lime rum. It's really good. Paul from the Drums and Rums podcast. Check out his podcast if you like drums or rums or both. He really interviews high-quality guests and very interesting stories he's able to get out of these people. So check out his podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, Drums and Rums. Also, check out the Jams and Cocktails podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. That is, of course, our podcast, and we do our shows live on Wednesday nights from 8 p.m. to somewhere in and around 10 p.m. So you can check that out live here on YouTube and Facebook as well. And our show tomorrow is about barbershop music, as I mentioned earlier on in the show today. So go check that out. We'll see you there tomorrow night on the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Also, our friends Ben and Hector at 561 Music Podcast, another great podcast where they feature great local music and get to the bottom of their stories as well there. Let's see. What else? As I mentioned earlier, come and see me tonight at the Tipsy Tiki in Fort Pierce. I'll be playing my one-man band show there from 6 to 10. And it's going to be a good time. It's my first time there. So it should be a good time. Come and check it out if you're not doing anything tonight. Also on Thursday night, be sure to check out Paul's Drums and Rums biggest happy hour in a half hour live stream on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Our very own Jordan Taylor will be featured on there, hanging out with Paul and all those shenanigans that go on with that. So down to be a good show, and Jordan's the best. So check out the biggest happy hour in a half hour live stream from Paul from Drums and Rums on Thursday night. What else am I plugging here? Plugging away. If you're up in the Orlando area, I will be performing at Oviedo Brewing on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. So come and check me out if you're up in that area. And yeah, I think that does it for my shameless plug. All right, you guys, I think I'm going to let you run, but enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. If you're hungry, it's basically you're a stone's throw from somewhere that has $2 tacos all day, because it is $2 Tuesday. Check out all the great deals on Amazon Prime today. I appreciate all your input on the Weed Whacker. I'll probably be making a purchase immediately. Hope you enjoyed the show today and all of our fun stories. Let's do it again tomorrow. Thank you once again for hanging out with me. This has been the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. I'm Brad Brock. I'll see you tomorrow.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.